Hello there, beautiful people of the internet. Welcome to another video. And you are like me, and you don't really have a 100% idea of where it is that you want to go in life, or um, uh, how to kind of get where you want, or whether you will really get there or not. Then this video might be for you. And the main concept that I want to explain in this video is quite easy. So, as we all know, nobody can actually really predict the future. I cannot predict the future. I guess you also cannot predict the future. And a lot of other people cannot predict the future. And there are a lot of institutions and people, trying to predict the future. For example, the markets or the financial market, and with companies and stuff trying to predict how much sales they will get. But it's very hard, kind of, to predict the future from a individual, like a person, um, and especially hard if you have a kind of, you grow up, you have some kind of image of where you want to go to, or at least what you want to like to, what you would like to do later in life, and um, you work towards this and stuff like that. But however, you cannot be sure that you will be, um, you'll reach that idea that you want to achieve in your life. And some of these goals are quite easy, of course. For many people, it's quite general. It's like wanting a healthy life, starting family, da da da, and also getting like super rich, da da da. So quite standard. Um, of course, there are also other more specific kind of goals. For example, a very specific one is you want to become an astronaut or you want to become a doctor. And with these kind of very specific goals, you already know like the steps that you have to take to get there, which makes it a lot easier, right? Because if you want to become a doctor, then you have to do really, really well in school, and you have to study medicine, and then follow a lot of studies, and then and then you will eventually get there if you get in, of course. And it is, of course, a lot of work, but it does make it a bit easier for the ones that have really defined such a specific, very specific goal, compared to other people who don't really have that much of a specific goal. They don't want to become a doctor. They actually don't really know that much yet what they want to do. And if I look at myself, I kind of think I also fall into that category. I think when I was smaller, I never wanted to become like a specific profession that existed. I always came up with lame ass stupid things that it's not possible. Or so, yeah, I want to become king of the world, that kind of stuff. It's not possible. But so didn't really had a specific goal. And um but in the end, I guess it kind of turned out well, even though I didn't really have a specific goal. And the part that I really want to talk about is, so for the people that don't really have a specific goal, but still do have a lot of interest, which I kinda did. I had a lot of interest which wasn't really related to, for example, becoming a doctor or becoming an accountant or that kind of stuff. I had a very broad range of interest. And I kind of think that um, having these interests um, um, will, of course, not lead to you reaching whatever it is that you want, but the part of being interested in a very broad range of topics and things can somewhat help you further down the line in the future whenever um, it might be needed. Not saying it will be needed. For example, if you're a circus clown and stuff like that, there are only very specific niches of purposes down the line in the future that you might apply your circus clown interest into. For example, becoming an acrobat, so circus clown, acrobat, that might be more related. But if you have skills regarding interest within being a circus clown, it cannot help you becoming a doctor or something like that. But I still do think, and I think some other people can also agree with me on this, that if you have a broad range of interests, you do a lot of different things, then you get to experience a little bit of everything. You kind of know what it is about, what's happening in that specific thing that you're interested in, but not on a deeper level, of course, because you didn't spend that much time. Also, you have to allocate your time into other things because your interests are so broad. And you might, of course, never know whether whether this thing that you're learning right now, your interest, will become in handy later down the line. That is something you don't know. But what does happen is, because you're doing so many different things that you're interested in, it kind of, and also because you don't really know yet what it is that you want to do later in life or anything like that. When that time comes, you will have be better prepared to take on things that are that you didn't plan for. And that is because in the past you were interested in so many different things. Although not although very superficially, so not on the deeper level, because you didn't specialize in one specific thing, but you had a broad interest in a lot of different things, and you also put in the effort to learn, to get familiar with some skills and or required for those interests that you were actively engaging. And during that time, you don't, if you look forward, you cannot really see like, oh yeah, I might be able to apply this later in my career or work or personal life or whatever. But because you're interested in so many things, you have broadened your spectrum of skills and knowledge that might increase your chances to eventually, whenever you're rolling into a specific when you get older, of course, and you roll into a specific a career or a life goal or thing, because of all those interests, some of them that you have been practicing in the past might come in handy in the future. And those are very unforeseen. You couldn't have predicted that when you were doing those things in the past, that you might use it for this specific future purpose. That's really the fun thing about it, because you don't know if you can apply them in the future. But I've noticed, at least in my case, when I was younger, I didn't really have a goal to, I didn't want to become a career person or whatever. I didn't want to become a doctor. I just had no goal. But I did had a lot of different kind of interests, and I'm not saying that I put in a lot of effort to learn them, but I did research them a little bit because I was interested in it. And of course, not all of them were applicable now, but some of the things that I, put in a bit more effort. Now, in the current time, I reflect back on my life, I noticed like, hey, when I was doing that thing in the past, which I thought was kind of silly, not really. I don't know if there's any application for it. Now if I reflect back, I kind of come to the conclusion that was kind of um, um, kind of good that I did it, because I can now apply it somewhat in my current life that helps me improve, my work or personal life or whatever, projects, da 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 da. So what I'm saying kind of is that if you have no purpose right now, that's okay, but you should still kind of be interested in a lot of different things and trying to figure out for yourself what it is that you like, and also trying kind of all the things that you're interested in, even though those kind of things right now might not be valuable if you think about it. But somewhere down the line in the future, you never know when that specific skill that you've acquired in the past might come in handy in the future. So it's kind of like, you have no purpose, at least try to be interested in a lot of different things and try them out. I guess also this is part of human life, experiment a little bit, trying different things. And then later down in life, you might be able to apply them in your in the thing, whatever it is that you're doing. And and I'm using myself as an example. I guess there are also a lot of other people that have been that have noticed that this does help. So you always have two types of people growing up: but the ones that already exactly know what they want. So they want to become a doctor, they want to become an accountant, they want to become a businessman, whatever. And you also have the kind of, like me, lazy people that actually don't really know what it is that they want to do. So they try a lot of different things. Back then, what they thought was, oh yeah, this is kind of cool, let's do this. Oh yeah, this is cool, let's do that. And never become really good in it, but at least getting familiar with it, and also kind of getting knowing, kind of getting into a level of competency in it. And then later, you stop practicing, but you still, of course, remember the things that you did in the past. And then later in life, a lot older, then you suddenly notice like, hey, I'm kind of happy that in the past I did that thing, because now it's getting handy for whatever it is I'm doing right now. So this is mainly for those type of people. I guess also for the type of people that already have predetermined goal, to also just do a lot of other things that you kind of might be interested in, because you never know when that specific thing that you're doing, that skill that you've learned, the knowledge that you've gained, might come in handy later down the line. So yeah, that's the video for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll check you guys next week. Later. Ciao, 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 ciao. Ciao.